Thanks for hitting play, and welcome to Cooking Real Food for Real People. This is the first of many that I hope we do, and tonight we're going to show you how to cook a really good vegetarian tamale pie. Okay, here's what you're going to need for this tonight. You're going to need half a cup of dry polenta or corn grits. You're going to need a quarter cup of sharp cheddar cheese, or if you're like us, you're going to use veggie shreds, because we have vegetarians and vegans in the family and you can't even tell the difference. You're going to need to have 3 to 4 good cloves of minced garlic. And don't worry, I'm going to show you how to do that here in a second. You're also going to need 1 medium onion, about a cup. I like to use red. You're also going to need to have 1 zucchini, diced, about a half a cup. I like to use a little bit more. You also are going to need a half of a red, yellow, orange bell pepper, any kind you really like. I like red, and I also use half a jalapeno. You'll like that. Then you need some dry ingredients, and together I've mixed a tablespoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, and 1 teaspoon of dried oregano. Try to use the Mexican if you can. The next thing you're going to need is 1 can of diced tomato and green chili. The next thing you need is a can of pinto beans. I use 1 medium-sized potato diced and about the same size as corn. You're also going to need 2 teaspoons of brown rice flour. Okay, here's some of the hardware you're going to need to cook this. First, you want to start out with a square casserole dish. This is an 8-inch. And you're also going to need a 10-inch saute pan. You're going to need a 1-quart sauce pot with a lid, and I've gone ahead and put 2 cups of water in that. You're going to need a cutting board, axle here, and a couple reliable knives. Other than that, you're good to go, and so are we. So let's go ahead and get started. You're going to need to set the oven to 375 and let that start. Then on your back pot back here, we need to go ahead and get those 2 cups of water off to a boil. I told you I was going to show you how to dice the garlic. First you need to clean it. So pull the skins off. Throw those bad boys in here like this. An easy way to get the skins off real quick. Okay, now just start running a knife through this. And dice that stuff right on up like this. You know, there's no real easy way for chopping onions, so we just get it done here. Any way you prefer to do it, you can. Okay, now that you have a nice rolling boil here going on in this 2 cups of water that you put in, now's the time to add the polenta. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and add the polenta to the water. And it makes kind of like a cornmeal or a grits kind of a thing here. You want to go ahead and cover that and take it down to a simmer. We want to go ahead and you want to set that timer for that polenta for 30 minutes. Because I have such limited time here, I'm going to go ahead and dice this stuff up, and through the magic of TV, it'll all be ready for you here in a second. Okay, there is one thing though, however, as I'm dicing this up, I was going to show you how to clean out the peppers, because here's the reality. This membrane right here and those peppers, that's what's really hot. So what I do is I just run this knife like this, and I rinse them out. So it looks like that. That way you get a lot of the jalapeno flavor, but you don't get the heat. About every 10 minutes or so in that half hour, you want to really get in here and stir that polenta up. Now that you got pretty much everything diced up and you've stirred your polenta, it's a good time to go ahead and drain and rinse the pintos. Okay, you want to go ahead and heat your skillet now, because we're going to go ahead and make the filling up. I like to heat it up over medium-high heat, and I use about a good amount of olive oil. You want to go ahead and add your onions. And your garlic. And we're going to let that cook down for about 5 minutes. Man, I wish you guys could smell this. Now the onions are starting to sizzle a little bit. We're cooking. We got about another 3 minutes to go on this and we're good. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add the zucchini. We're also going to add the red bell pepper and the jalapeno now. Man, it smells good. I wish this really was smell-o-vision. Now, here's the other thing. We're going to go ahead and add the dry ingredients. That way it gets toasted up and it cooks along. And we're going to let this cook for about another 5 more minutes. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add those rinsed and drained beans. Get that into the mix. Tomatoes. Also throw in the corn, which in my family is really just potatoes. I'm just going to let this sit here and cook for about another 3 minutes. Let it cook down just a little bit. Let those things marry and blend. Okay, now you're going to want to go ahead and take that brown rice flour and a 1/4 cup of water. And when those vegetables are a little bit more ready, we're going to go ahead and add this to it to thicken it up a little bit. This is going to thicken that up really nice. Okay, now we got to put it into that 8-inch square pan. Ah, look at that. I mean, seriously, that is the stuff. You got about 2 more minutes to go before you really can put in the polenta. So this, or on the top. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and stir in that cheese. Can you see that? Go ahead and just glob that on there. I'm going to spread it out and try to make it as even as possible. But it's just making it right. I try to get it as close to the edge as I can, and I try to do a layer all the way through. Okay, at this point, you have 2 options. You can either wrap it with cellophane and some aluminum foil, pop it in the freezer, and you'll be able to cook it later at this same temperature, 375 for 90 minutes, or you can go ahead and just take it right now, if you're going to have it tonight, and put it in the oven. And we're going to let that cook for about 40 minutes. 40 minutes should do the trick. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up, and we'll see you back here in about 40 minutes. Or, in your world, about 2 seconds. Well, as you can see, we got the kitchen cleaned up, and well, we're almost done. It's got 44 seconds left before we can take it out of the oven. Once you do take it out of the oven, you definitely want to let it cool for about 15-20 minutes because it's piping hot, and then people are bound to burn in their mouths. Trust me, I know that from experience. You know, one thing that I learned, this is harder than I thought it'd be, but I know that I'll get a lot better, and I know that if you stick it out with me and you read the blog and follow the recipes, you're going to get a whole lot better at cooking too. You can also serve it with some avocado or some guacamole. Heck, you can even use some sour cream if you want. There are no rules, they're only right. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it out and take a look. Oh yeah, ooh, that's hot. Look at that polenta, that made a really nice fine crust on it. You've got all the sauces there. You've got everything working for you. Oh yeah, I wish you could smell that, that's great. All right, well, hey, if you have any suggestions for any recipes you want me to make, don't hesitate to comment. Feel free to do so. Join my blog and follow me, and we'll have a good time. Until next time, we'll see ya.